Wolfman.
Oh yeah, let me. I'm sorry. Let me.
Are
get
you
my-
excited? We'll read the article.
I'm not sure. Let's read the
Okay.
article, and I'll tell you why I'm reticent.
Okay. Let's read the article.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the new trailer for the Wolfman. This is new trailer for Wolfman goes heavy on the savage body horror. Director Leigh Whannell of The Invisible Man returns to the world of Universal Monsters next year's Wolfman, and Universal Pictures UK released a new trailer today. This new trailer for Wolfman is loaded with brand new footage not previously seen in the movie's US trailers, so we figured you'd like to check it out. Give it a watch down below. From Universal and Blumhouse, Wolfman howls into theaters January 17th, 2025. Golden Globe nominee Christopher Abbott, Poor Things, stars as Blake, a San Francisco husband and father who inherits his remote childhood home in rural Oregon after his own father vanishes and is presumed dead. With his marriage to his high-powered wife, Charlotte, Julia Garner of Indiana, fraying, Blake persuades Charlotte to take a break from the city and visit the property with their young daughter, Ginger, played by Matilda Firth. Let me see. But as the family approaches the farmhouse in the dead of night, they're attacked by an unseen animal and, in a desperate escape, barricade themselves inside the home as the creature prowls the perimeter. As the night stretches on, however, Blake begins to behave strangely, transforming into something unrecognizable, and Charlotte will be forced to decide whether the terror within their house is more lethal than the danger without. The upcoming horror film co-stars Sam Yeager of The Handmaid's Tale, Ben Prendergast, The Sojourn audio drama, and Benedict Hardy of The Invisible Man. Screenplay is written by Leigh Whannell and Corbett Truck, Lauren Schuker Bloom, and Rebecca Angelo. The film is produced by Blumhouse founder and CEO Jason Blum and Ryan Gosling of The Fall Guy and Lost River. And executive produced by Leigh Whannell, Beatrice. Okay, I'm not going to read all these names. Wolfman remake. What do we think?
Okay, I want to first, if you let me take over controls, because I want to bring up some comments here. First, Jesse Green says it looks good, but it shows too much in the trailer. Yes, I agree, but let's be honest. There's two types of trailers we get these days. They either give away too much, or they give you so little you don't even know what the frack the movie's about. Right? They can't. The art of. I was kind of alluding to it before when I was talking about marketing. The art of subtlety, just to give you enough to entice you, that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, let's face it, we live in the world of OF, right? So the idea of enticing and not giving away too much just doesn't exist anymore. The other one is Matanui saying another Wolfman remake. Again, another problem I have. Exactly right. I feel like this is Universal doing the same thing that Sony has been doing for years with Spider-Man. We'll remake it over and over and over and over again so that we can keep the rights, we can keep, the marketing dollars and so forth. Excuse me. Hiccup there. Honestly, my personal feeling is that you had probably the best Universal Wolfman remake in 2010 with the Benicio del Toro.
Correct.
Why? Because this was exactly what we were talking about with remakes, where if you're going to do it, you've got to update it and make it as good or better. And I felt there was so many things in it that were as good or better, right?
It was as close to what we thought a Universal remake should look like, because he looked the part. He had a similar look to Lon Chaney Jr. I give him points on the.
That is the other thing.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing that I don't know if it's good or bad. If I was Universal, I would consider this to be a bad thing. Who is the Wolfman? The Wolfman is Lawrence Talbot, right? That's who Lon Chaney Jr. played. That's who Benicio del Toro played. There was a very specific story there. In general, it's an American who returns to the homeland because his father has died or is dying, and he needs to oversee the estate. And while he's there, he gets bit by a werewolf, and tragedy ensues. And he is cursed with this lycanthropy and all the lore that goes with it. Could you do that in a modern dress? Could you do that with someone who's already married and has a kid? Sure. But it doesn't look like they're doing that at all. This is a different character, different setting, completely different concept. The only thing that makes it the same is they're using the title and it involves a werewolf. And the problem with that is that Universal has a brand ID they need to do something with. They have a whole section of their park about it.
This probably won't blend with that, will it?
No, it absolutely will not. So again, a big marketing blunder here. Blunderhouse is what I'm going to call this. And all it ends up doing is taking their what would be their IP and turning it into a generic werewolf story
instead of making it the iconic Wolfman. I mean, I'm assuming
am not saying it won't be good. It could be very good, but I think it's a big misstep for them.
I'm wondering if maybe they're going to use the same look with it being more man-like, like the Lon Chaney costume, rather than the straight-up werewolf that we've seen.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't quite. It looks. I mean, they're doing it as a straight-up horror movie, and I guess it doesn't make sense for them to do another one in the 1800s or the early 1900s because they're going to go for modern day. Maybe this takes place in the same world as the classic Wolfman movie.
Well, so they did a bang up job when they decided to do a modern day mummy movie with Tom Cruise. So, why don't you do the same kind of thing again?
Absolutely terrible. I was on board with it too before. I was the sucker when I didn't go see it though when I saw the reviews come out, but I was like, Tom Cruise, he's very careful with the projects he picks. I think he's taking this seriously. I get it. They're wanting to set it in modern day, but we're all over the Mideast, conflict, so that makes sense that someone might uncover. It's going to be a different mummy than what we had. It's not going to be Imhotep again. I kept thinking with the female mummy, they were going to base it off of Jewel of the Seven Stars, the Bram Stoker mummy story. But
sure.
That's not what they did. But anyway.
Well, here's the other thing. Director of The Invisible Man. Did you see The Invisible Man?
I heard things that maybe not want to see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It sounds like they're going to make a lot of the same missteps with this that they did with that.
It's going to be like Abusive Husband or something.
I heard The Invisible Man was a good Invisible Man movie, but it wasn't The Invisible
Man. It was its own thing. It sounds like Universal keeps throwing things at the board, hoping something's going to take off that they can make a movie out of instead of just.
And let me just say that
the two Dracula movies that came out last year with Last Voyage of the Demeter and Renfield. I mean, it's...
When I think about what I think, people with big corporations and big investments, business-minded people, you would think you spend millions, maybe billions of dollars on something. You don't just throw stuff at the wall to see if it sticks. You find the right people to be successful that think things through, plan it out. That would be like if we were trying to get to the moon and you go, well, we basically know how to make rockets. Just, strap a rocket to some guy's ass and shoot him into space and see how it works. Yeah, you're not going to have a space program after that.
What haven't they done yet? They haven't done Frankenstein. They haven't done Frankenstein yet. They haven't tried doing...
Not since Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Well, no. I mean, Universal hasn't made an attempt to reboot Frankenstein. That was going to be part of the Dark Universe. They were going to have Javier Bardem was going to play the monster. I heard about that. Who I thought would have done a great job, actually. But I don't know.
I do think that, despite what I said earlier, I do think that remakes of the original Universal, if they want to do something with the Universal monsters, remakes of them in the style of that, the way they did that 2010 Wolfman is exactly the way to go. And you give them the look and feel of the originals with modern actors that could then be brought into sequels and then start tying them all together.
You're right. Van Helsing
Yeah,
was the
Van
last
Helsing
time.
had its problems
Oh,
too.
it
That was
had some
probably
problems. Yes.
That was probably the best attempt at the unified, what do you call it, shared universe thing. But
Ridiculous.
there was, the story is that we were going to have a rewatch on somebody else's channel, and I said I'm going to have some serious drinks if I'm going to get through this. I got so drunk I wasn't able to do the stream. Seriously, I was just
I remember that was on
Wolfden Media's
channel.
yeah.
Yes, and
And you
I
filled
kept
in
yelling
for me.
out for you during certain scenes of movies, like Troy, because we were going to be the detractors, and it was
Yes.
Wolfden. I forgot who else was on there. Was going to be the defender of that, and it was just, oh man,
It was terrible.
I like Kate Beckinsale, but in the underworld movies, there's her
Yeah.
monster movies, not Van Helsing. Oh man, I wanted to like Van Helsing so bad. The vampire baby,
and again,
yeah, among other things, yes, there was the vampire baby nonsense.
And then again, there was also the elements of, the burned out windmill and stuff like that. These tiebacks to the originals. That was showing that somebody had some idea about what they were doing, but it just went all in the wrong direction. And honestly, I feel like this is going to be too. This is probably going to make money. And it's probably going to do at least as well as the Invisible Man, and that's it. It's not going to get a sequel. Nobody's going to care.
There's an untapped market for these movies. They if they just see it. Someone made a joke that Disney could be remaking them soon enough, and I wonder, are those movies going to go public domain at some point, so anybody can take the Universal monsters, that brand, and just do what they want with them?
I mean, eventually, maybe. I actually don't know if it would be within our. Well, how many years is it for these kinds of movies?
I don't know. Just. I feel like this is a leftover of something they were trying to do and that they don't want to do anymore, but they still got to release it. Like they're trying to do this as a straight up R-rated horror movie, which I kind of get. But then what makes it different than all the other werewolf movies we've seen?
I just looked it up. So the 1931 Dracula will
Yeah.
go into public domain in 2027.
Good luck, Universal. You're done. Your time to have tried doing a
because the fact is, and again, they're going to run into the same problem, or maybe problem is the wrong way to say it, that Disney does. Remember, Steamboat Willie went into public domain. What does that mean for Disney? Not a lot, because they still have a trademark on.
You can't trademark Dracula. It's public domain.
No, you can't, but you can trademark the elements that make him
until the movie goes public domain. Until the movie goes public domain, and then you can have anyone wearing the iconic Bela Lugosi costume, right? In your movie, Sony could do their own monster universe if they wanted to.
Well, see, therein lies the problem. I don't think, whereas Mickey Mouse was trademarked, I don't think that they have done that in this way with, well, maybe they have. I don't know. The iconic look of, so for things like what's it called? Frankenstein with the bolts in the neck and the flat head.
Yes, that was Universal. And I'm going to bring this to what Darth Plato is saying. Yes, the book is, but like Universal's interpretation of that, the one that people got to know, they still own that. For instance, when Hammer Horror were making their Frankenstein movie in the late 50s, Universal basically said, if you copy any element, any physical, because they were already angry they were doing it, and they said, if you copy anything, your monster looks like ours. I guess they use the what is it, the thing getting sent up to the lightning, you do any of that, we will sue you into oblivion. So they had to
And
make
keep in
their
mind,
Frankenstein
too,
movie as
that
different as
there are
twice.
things in those original Universal films that were different from the original books.
Yes.
So names of characters, sometimes composite characters, and things like that. Especially true with the sequels. When you have, the Son of Frankenstein and so forth, or the Daughter of Dracula. These were characters completely originally created by Universal. Larry Talbot. Larry Talbot is
Wolfman.
a Universal creation that is not tied to any original novel or book or anything. It is a movie character only. So this is why I don't understand why they're not doing something with their own property.
You're going to lose them, and then you'll be left with nothing. Get it together, Universal. Take a risk for once in your life, please. You've been risk averse since Scott Pilgrim came out in theaters. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
So we get a low budget Wolfman horror movie, which may or may not be good, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not excited. I'll say that.